Okay, in this approach, I'm going to create videos that kind of just explain a little bit about creating, content and being able to juggle all that from, marketing, branding, all that stuff. Because basically everybody wants to do that thing. They want to be able to have some sort of system that can bring in leads or that can juggle all those day-to-day activities. So, with that said, I want to talk about design. It's important, there is a few categories we'll say that you can overlay on different parts of whatever it is you're trying to start. And design is one of those categories. It could be design of your social media videos, the templates that you use to create those videos, some sort of template that you use to create a blog post. Maybe you have a certain way of writing things so that your audience is used to that and you're getting the information out, how you want it to be. And so with design, we'll look at maybe just crafting a website because, it is 2022, but you know what? Having a website is kind of important, I think, to have it, because a lot of social media people I see, they have backup accounts, right? In case something happens to their account, that they have something to fall back on for whatever reason. But the same can be true for a website. People don't necessarily want to keep endlessly scrolling. So maybe having a website where you can have curated content about the stuff you're talking about. So case in point, let's say you're building your website, and I'll just transition over to here, and you're looking for ways to build, ways to design. You're looking for examples. Some people transition over here. Some people like to use Pinterest and other things to use that can help them figure out how to design the website, how to make it look so it's clean. And, a couple of these examples, I'll look right here. The first website is getbootstrap.com. So if you go there, Bootstrap is a well-known framework headed by Twitter. Twitter created this framework, I believe, as a way to kind of make their UI UX experience cleaner. And so it just kind of became, it fell into the standard of what a lot of websites use today, which also ultimately leads to one final point about design of your website, is that a $5 website can look just as good as a $2,500 website. Okay, it's basically using HTML5 and CSS3, which is the de facto standard of frameworks for front-end development. Now, there's a lot of other technologies out there that you can utilize, but I'm not going to get into that for right now. But the point is using getbootstrap.com and going to their themes and looking at different themes and looking and see how clean the design is, right? Because you're not trying to reinvent the wheel, and websites have been out there for decades, so there's other people that have learned how to design and get them aesthetically pleasing. So the first example we got here from getbootstrap.com is a admin page for an educational portal. So a student signs in and then they're presented with this dashboard that you can see here. Very clean looking. It has basic elements that you would find in WordPress, such as a sidebar, or basically any like blog page. So it's not out of the realm of possible. You got a link here to view my courses. You've got your profile header here, and then you got your menu header at the very top. And you scroll down here, and then there's some basic pagination of those courses. So it's a very basic layout. There's three call to actions here, and very basic, something that can be certainly achievable with today's tools and techniques. Another website here on getbootstrap.com, which is probably more your speed, is just setting up basic landing pages and pages that you want to talk about certain information or gather leads to help out people, and you might need to capture their email address. So we've got a basic hero with H1 text, which has got some marquee animated text, which also again is doable in WordPress, which you don't need very much. And there's a lot of JavaScript libraries that have been implemented inside plugins that you can utilize this, although you don't want to get bombarded with a bunch of plugins, and that's another video for another time. But then you got your H3 text here underneath that, and it's a couple of icons, and then your call to action form to capture, email for leads to send out information. Some basic review quotes here. Then another hero with this is a tab, very basic. And these are some of these integrations, these like things like jQuery, tabs and things like that are basic elements inside WordPress that you don't need extra plugins for, that's already integrated. Got some other topics and highlighted points here. Got a checklist, and again, very basic, a table, and your basic footer. So these elements, your menu, a hero, and then a couple of other call to actions, and then your footer at the bottom are all elements that make up the standard web page, whether it's a $25,000 website build or it's a $100, $250 website build. They all follow the same structure, same methodology, so to speak. So now this is just for finding out basic layouts, and you can even buy this if you wanted and turn it into a website, but that's a different scope for different video. Third thing would be to just scour the internet. Again, like a lot of times people like to use Pinterest, or maybe dribble.com is a great place to go for design inspiration. But another way to be would to look at some of your favorite websites that you like, and you say, oh yeah, I kind of like this design. I'd like to utilize it and put it in my own website for a personal project or for a client's project. And so this is a website from SEMrush, and this is their blog page, and it's got some basic call to actions, their articles, maybe a call to action to, well, this is a blog, so a lot of these is content driven, informative content. And if we scroll down, it gets really in depth and very sophisticated here, because there's a bunch of content, links that have infinite scrolling, which means it goes on and on and on. You never find the footer of the page. And so, that's great, but we just want some basic stuff. So, these things right here, these basic divs or rows that you have, you can color code these and slap in an image, and then you've got your title, and you got some basic elements inside of a blog page that have some nice aesthetically pleasing call to actions, and that gives the content right in front of your consumer or client or potential prospect, and they can click on and go right to that content. So again, like I like to do, is you can do one of two things. You can take a screenshot of it, keep it in a folder, and save it for later, do a full screenshot. And this is done through the browser. The browser handles this type of capability. But then you can see it took a snapshot of the page. And so I got a basic idea of how I would want the page to look, and save that for later. Now another option is you right click the page, click inspect, and then click this arrow here, and then hover over the design, the elements of the page that you like. So for instance, this little square box here, and then once I've highlighted that, I can uncheck some of the selectors or properties that are handling how that specific widget is designed. And you can even, if you wanted to get really geeky with it, you could copy copy all these rules here, create your own custom class. So like this instance, you can see the class here, it's indicated by a dot. I think it's a class or selector, and then these properties within there. And then you create your own, so you could call it like dot my blog widget or something. But you have to kind of make it unique because you don't want to be mingling with some of your core foundational elements within your blog, your theme. Again, that's more in depth, but you kind of get the idea. You can definitely make these very easily with blogs and widgets and tools that are out there, and get some of the basic designs and have a $100 website look exactly or similar to a $25,000 website. So I hope this kind of gave you an idea of what techniques are out there that you can use to get your design process going. I mean, the same goes for creating video templates or creating social media templates, because ultimately what you want to do is schedule out, do 7 to maybe 14 posts, and then download those, and then be able to schedule those succinctly so that you're not having to do it the whole process each at a time, and you can just what's called batch processing, and makes it a whole lot easier and kind of get you to where you want to be, which is maybe creating content, capturing leads, and helping others with whatever service, product, or solution you're providing. So if you like this video, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified so you can subscribe and never miss a minute. Thanks.